Hello everyone, it's Amy, and welcome back for week 34 of Build Your Stash and Craft. This week we needed some combs, and we really only needed one comb with large tines on it, or whatever you call those, and we needed a hacksaw, both from the dollar store. And what we're going to make this week is a bow maker. And so what we're going to need to do is we are just going to adjust our comb to make it a little easier to make our bows. So on this comb, let me see here, a piece of paper towel. As you can see, I have cut a slit here and here, and I cut out the middle, between the middle two tines. Now, what I'm going to do with this is, and I've also numbered my tines, and I don't know if you can see that or not. I numbered them with a black Sharpie on here. One on this side, one on this side, two on this side, two on this side, so that I knew which ones matched up, but it doesn't really show up very well. So you just have to count them. But now this one, we're never going to want to make a bow that's only that big. That's, like 1/4 of an inch. So I'm going to also take out these two tines so that I have a bigger gap in the middle. And all I'm going to do, and you're going to do this very carefully, and if you are not over 18, make sure that you ask an adult to do this for you. And if you are over 18, just make sure that you use caution when doing this. So I've just cut down with my saw. I just cut down next to this blade. Now I just kind of want to try and angle my saw a little bit. I'm going to actually try and do it from the middle. Maybe that's not going to work. I'm going to just cut. Okay, what I'm going to do is see how I cut the center out here. I'm going to do the same thing over here. I'm going to cut that piece out, and then I'm going to break that tine off. So I'm just going to go right next to this one. And this saw is wide enough that when you cut on each side of these tines, that middle piece comes out. Just kind of saw a little bit to the side, and then kind of just go back and forth a little bit. So there we go. Now we have that missing. Now I'm going to try and break this tine out. And there we go. It snapped right out of there. I'm going to take my saw and just kind of saw on that spot just a little bit. Maybe kind of do it at an angle, because I just wanted to get that to go down a little bit. But you're going to do this and take a little bit of time, and you don't even have to do that. So I didn't really get much of it out of there. I'm going to take my sandpaper and just go down in there and sand on that a little bit, just because we don't want it to be rough. It's okay if it's sticking up, but you don't want it to be rough. So there we go. We've got that one out. Now we'll just take the other one out, and that will make us a nice gap in the middle. It's nice to have a good sized gap in the middle, because that's where your ribbon winds up going through. So I'm going to cut each side of that filler spot down there, which I've done, and I'm going to just try and break this tine out. There we go. Now we have a nice big center. So what we have now is we have a place on each end to grip our ribbon. There and there. And we have this nice big spot in the middle to put our ribbon through. Now, no matter what comb that you want to do that to, I have this comb here where I put the groove, but it's hard to see. I put the groove on one side there, and I'm just going to go ahead and put a groove on the other side. So no matter which type ribbon or which type comb you have, I'm just kind of showing you. And again, be very careful. Don't saw into your fingers. Make sure that you don't slip. Make sure you have a good grip, close to but fingers out of the way of where you're sawing. These combs are very stiff. They're very hard plastic. If you get the kind that are plasticky, like bendable plasticky, they would be much easier to saw. So when I showed last week, I did show you one that was in the bathroom section called a shower comb, and that one's very plasticky. And so there we go. We've got that little groove in there, and then just take your sandpaper, because you're going to put your ribbon in these grooves. Just want a flat part of my sandpaper, and I'm just going to go in there and kind of go back and forth on this side, then turn it around, and go back and forth a little bit on the other side. There we go. Just makes it nice and smooth. So 2 little, and you don't have to have these grooves. If you don't want to have those, take a piece of your double-sided tape and stick it on there, and you can just stick your ribbon to that double-sided tape. So you don't have to saw it if you don't want to. So the other thing that I did want to show you was with my saw, when I first opened it up and I was trying to saw with it, the blade kept popping off. And I'm going to move this stuff so I'm white behind, and hopefully that'll help. I'm not sure how well you can see this, but here the saw fits up into this handle. There's a little groove and there's a little catch that fits up into there. On this side, we've got the same thing. There's a little groove and the saw fits up into there. Well, when I got this was flipped up the other way so that the groove was actually on the top. And every time I tried to saw, the blade popped off. Now you should be able to tighten this, and that would like tighten the blade and hopefully hold it in there, but it didn't do that. So what I did was I took this off completely, and then what I did was, you have to take this out because it has a square nut in there, and originally it was up like this. And then my saw blade, every time I tried to saw, just kept popping right off of there. So what I did was I took it off, took it out, and turned it around so that that groove is on the bottom. Now both of them are on the bottom, and when you're sawing and it's pushing up on the saw cannot go anywhere. So I did want to show you that in case yours comes that way, because to me, I do believe that that's backwards. And then just put your nut back on, and then take your blade, and see the blade has a little pin on the end of it. Put it in this end first, and then put it on this end. There's a groove here that it fits up into. You fit it up into that groove, and then make sure it fits into that slot. Now I've tightened that down too much. My slot won't come over far enough, so I'm going to loosen it up and push that over and put that right in the slot, and then just tighten it up. Now both of your grooves are on the bottom, and they're going to hold your saw blade in there nice and tight. Oh, and then when you get to tight, just leave it right there because it will just continue going and loosen back up again. So that is how I fixed my saw to make it so that when I pressed on it, it did not pop off, because it just kept popping off, and I thought, oh, I got a bad one. So again, you can do any kind of comb. This one has a groove here and a groove here, and I've made a nice big centerpiece. And then this one, it's pretty big in the middle. So, and this has an even number, 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 5 tines on each side of center. So this is our center right here, and I am going to cut that center out just like I did the other one, because it doesn't really give me that much more space to put my ribbon through. It does a little bit. But the other thing is that lets me know that that is center. There we go. I got that out of there. Give it a quick little sand. Now this is a long time ago when I made myself a bow maker. This is the type of comb that I used. And I'd seen people doing them with forks. And so that's how I came up with using this comb. But the nice thing about this comb is it's so much wider. However wide this is, that's as wide as you can make your bow. So this one you could make your bow a lot wider if you wanted to. So, and you can use any size ribbon. We're going to use the types of ribbons that we already have. And I'll show you what we're going to make. These are some of the bows that you can make, and then you can just play with it and make all different sorts of bows. But they make nice bows. What happens is I have a hard time tying a bow, first off. But then when I do tie a bow, this side's too long, that side's too short. I keep adjusting, and I never can quite get it right. The nice thing about this is it gets your bows the right size, and they tie very tight. I love this little, I call it a butterfly bow, because it's smaller on the top, then it gets bigger, and then it gets smaller again. And that's just something, just the way I wrapped it, that's the way it came out. So, and then this one is a double bow with string and twine, and there's 2 loops on each side. This one has 4 loops going from small to large. This is just a regular old bow. This one is a double bow with a small loop on the inside. Actually, I like to make these triple, 2 small loops on the inside with a bigger one on the outside so that I have a small one on the top and the bottom. But I forgot to do that, but I'll show you how to do that. So this is what we're going to do. I'm going to grab all of my ribbons, and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. And one suggestion, this package that you get from the Dollar Tree, just take your top staple out, and then you can just slide your saw out, but you can put it back in there. I like to, and then it has this little like flap on it, on the plastic, that you can just run back over the edge again. And now that's safely inside there, so you don't have something wherever you're storing your stuff that's got that sharp edge on it you can catch your hand on. So, and it makes it easier to find. So this is another one that I made. I thought that this would be my favorite, but because these tines are at an angle, I thought it would be my favorite because it already had this circle here to stick my ribbon through. But because these tines are at an angle, the ribbon wants to slip off. This side works really well, but I just kind of wanted to show you that because I really thought this was going to be great, but it didn't work as well as I thought it would. But again, it just has a notch at each end, and then I cut the center out. So, but I'm going to show you now how to make a bow. I've grabbed out the different things that we have received over, or we've purchased over this time. And, well, let's start with a little piece of ribbon. So, and you can leave it on the spool if you want to, so that you don't waste anything. I have a hard time like playing with it on the spool, so I'm just going to cut off a nice piece. You know, there is no amount to cut off. It just depends on what kind of bow you want to make. We'll start with this one right here. Okay, so when you put your ribbon in, you are going to just slip it in one of the slots from the front to the back. Your tail is going to be on the back, and you're just going to hold it there with your finger. And then what you're going to do is you're going to take your ribbon and you're going to go around. So I'll go around the first tine here and then the first tine on the other side. And then I am going to go around the second tine and the second tine. And that right there will make a double bow. So let's do one more. Let's go around the third tine and the third tine. So there we go. Now what you need to make sure is this is your tail. You need to cross over that tail and then go through the center hole, and then just bring your ribbon up. You can set it down to kind of hold it, and then bring this tail, well, if I can get a hold of it, grab your tail and bring it right here. And now you're going to take these two and just tie them together right in the middle. Pull that nice and tight, and then just pull your tails down to get them adjusted before you take it off, because that's the easiest way to do it. And then just slip your bow off. Now you have this bow, and it has a little tiny loop and a medium-sized loop and a large loop. And now we have that little bow, and then you just cut your tails wherever you wanted them. Because that's so tiny, I'm going to cut some really tiny tails. Whoops. I'll pull this tail forward a little bit. And when you adjust your loops and everything, hold on to your knot so that nothing slips at all. And just pull number 2 down, because that's what I did on the other side. And it's fiddly because this little bow is just so small, but you can make your bows any size that you want to. So there we go. There's that little bow. And that back tail is wanting to, but when you glue it on something, it won't do that. And the more you pull on it and adjust it, the better you'll get it. But there's that little bow. Okay, now let's make a bigger one. We'll use our, let's see, what size is this ribbon? This is 5/8, which is just over 1/2 inch. I'm going to cut kind of a long piece, and I'm going to make a bigger bow with this one. So again, put your ribbon in so that your tail is on the back, and on this one I'm going to start out 3 over. And so I'm going to go 1, 2, 3 on this side and go through. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to do that again. Go back in the 3rd slot and in this 3rd slot, and I'm going to have 2 small loops in the middle, and then I'm going to go over 2 more from there and 2 more from there, and there we go. Now I don't have a whole lot of ribbon left, but I do have enough to make it work. So I am just going to cross over this one and go through the back to the back, pull that through and up to the middle, and then take your tail, I'm barely going to have enough to make a knot here, but I'm going to make it. And that's why if you cut your ribbon just a little bit long, you'll definitely be able to do this easier. Put your knot in the middle. And on this one, since I don't have any really tail here, well, I guess we could make that a little tail. Just make it a tiny, tiny tail. Make this one the same size. And keep all of your scraps because you can use those in all of your mixed media projects. Now this is one of the triple bows I said that I would show you. So on this one, just take your middle one and kind of hold it in the middle and pull one of those first small ones up to the top and one of those first small ones down to the bottom. Do the same on the other side. Pull one of the small ones up and reach in there and get that other little one. Where is it? There it is. Okay, so I'm going to pull these this way, like that, and then pull these this way. And there we go. I think I'm just going to fold those tails back under. I'm going to cut those off because I don't like the way they look. And there we go. So that's a triple bow, and I think that's really cute. And then you fluff them up however you want to and adjust them however you want to. And if you like, I had to cut that tail off. If I was going to put this on a project where I wanted a tail, all I would need to do was just put a piece of ribbon behind it, 2 of them like that, and then you would have a tail. So that's a triple one, and you can do it so many different ways. I'm going to show you with the string. I'll show you the butterfly one. So we'll put it through here, and then I'm going to go around the second one and the second one. Then I'm going to go around the wait a minute. Let's see. Second one, third one. What you want to do is start small, get one bigger, then get one bigger again. So that's going to be around the 4th one. Like that. Now go around the 4th one again, because those are your bigger wings in the middle. And then go around the 3rd one and the 3rd one. And I just left this on my reel. Go around the 2nd one and the 2nd one. Whoops. And then cross, here's our tail. Make sure you cross over your tail. Now I'm going to cut my string. Go through your center. Bring it up and around, set it down to hold it there. And then just tie a knot. Nice and tight. And there we go. And I'm just going to, while I have it on there, because that's the easiest way to do your pulling and tugging, I'm going to pull this down. If you want, you can tie a double knot in there. It doesn't hurt anything. Just put another knot. And then pull it down. And if you pull it down towards your tines, then when you want to take this off, you can kind of grab a hold of that and it helps you pull it off. And so there we go. Now we've got a small one, which went around the 2 tines. This one went around number 3. These 2 in the center went around number 4. Then we have this one went around 3 and this one went around 2. So you just do a smaller one, a little bit bigger, then a little bit bigger twice, then go back down one and go back down one more. And that's how you wind up with a butterfly bow. And I just think those are really, really cute. And now I'm loving it with the twine. I'm just really loving the twine. And now I can take this twine and I can use the inks that we made with our food coloring or with our Easter kits. And I can take that and I can dye this any color. I can paint it any color. Or I can just leave it natural just like this. I could coffee dye it or tea dye it. I'm just loving the string. So that's how you use your bow maker. That's how you make your bows. I'm going to stop right here and I'll be back in just a minute. Okay, I'm back to just show you a couple more things. I want to show you how to do this layered bow. And then I wanted to color our butterfly bow and see what it looks like. But to make the layered bow, what you're going to do, and the one thing that you have to remember when you're working on this is always the back of your project. The front of your project is on the other side. So we are going to take our tail and tuck it in. And then we are just going to go, we're not going to go around the first one next to the middle. We're going to go around number 2. And number 2. And I just left it on my reel so that I knew I had enough. Just make sure that you keep your ribbon facing the same way. Then we'll go around number 3 and number 3. Number 4 and number 4. Nope, I did that wrong. Jeez. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, we're going to go around number 2. And number 2. Okay. Now what we're going to do is we are going to go back into and come around 3 like this. Okay, see, so number 3 is there. So we'll go to the other side and I'll show you that again. We're going to go back in number 2 and around number 3 like that. And you want to keep them kind of lined up. Now we're going to go back over here, continue to go back and forth. We're going to go back in 3 and around number 4 like that. And we're going to come over here. We're going to go back in 3 and around number 4 just like that. We're going to come back this way. We're going to do that one more time. Back in 4 and around 5. Back in 5 or 4 and around the 5th one. Okay, so this is what we've got. Now, what that does is that leaves your front looking like that. Okay, so we are going to make sure that we cross over. Cut ourselves a tail and take our tail and put it through the middle. Just going to fold it in half and stuff it through there. There we go. Alrighty. I'm going to come back up through the middle. And that's why I cut this little piece out here, because that reminds me that that one is the middle. And then I'm going to take our piece from over here and we are just going to tie them together. Really, really good. Whoops. Good tight pull and throw everything all over the place. Okay, give it a really good pull. And I'm going to take my tails and pull them down a little bit. Give them a little bit of a snip. This is what we've got. We're just going to grab our knot on both sides and pull that off. And that is how you do that one. So I really love this one. I think that is so pretty. But the thing is with this is just do the same thing on one side as you do on the other, no matter what size comb you have. And just play with it, because you'll come up with probably all different sorts of things to, you know, different ribbons to make, triple ribbons, quadruple ribbons, all sorts. So just remember, whatever you do to one side, do it to the other, and your bow should be, it should look like some kind of a bow that, you know, possibly could be a new kind of a bow. And now I just thought that we would just color up our butterfly bow. I'm going to cut my antennas a little bit shorter, or tails if you turn it the other way. I'm just going to grab a little bit. This is just the dies that we made. And I just want to put a little, I'm going to put a little bit of pink and a little bit of yellow. And we'll just see what our butterfly turns out like, so long as I don't spill the dye, because we know how klutzy I can be. And maybe I should have done the top part yellow and the bottom part pink, so that it would have looked like the bottom wings were one color and the top wings were another, but I didn't do that, so we're just going to do this. You can also just drip this right on there, and it would soak in much more. I have really too small of a paintbrush to do this, but there we go. And I think I'm going to leave it just like that. And then I'm just going to take my black permanent marker and just touch the tips of the antenna. And maybe I shouldn't have done that in black. I should have done that in maybe red or something. But so there is our butterfly and the other bows that we made today. And of course, a single bow, I didn't even show you that, but a single bow is just take your bow maker and just go around there. I'm going to go around number 2. I'm going to go around number 2, cross over, put it through the middle. Well, if I can find it. Set it down. And then tie your knot right in the middle. There we go. Pull your tails the way that you want them. And sometimes you want your tails to go sideways like that, and if you do, just pull your tail sideways like that, because sometimes you want them to come out under your bow that way. And then just trim that, just like that. Fluff up your bow, and there's a little single bow. I like them that way too, when they go like that. But, and of course, you could have it like that, or you could pull them down. I'm going to leave that one like that. So, thank you very much. I hope you really enjoyed this. I'm going to go get what we need for next week, and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back to show you what we're going to need for next week. I realized that I didn't show you how to make this little bow with the fuzzy twine, and the only thing that I did with that is I just took a piece of the fuzzy fibers and a piece of my string, and I just tied a knot in the end. And then I just took those two together and just stuck them through the slot in my comb, and then just went around and did it exactly the same way as all of the rest. So, but that's how I did that, so I thought I would just let you know that's how I did it. I hope that you enjoyed watching these bows be made. I did order my heat gun. I ordered it through Walmart.com from Walmart to pick up in the store. The first one that showed up was like from someplace else. I don't get all of that, but the next one was from Walmart. And so it's going to be to my store in about a week and a half. I ordered the Ranger heat tool, and that's the one that kind of looks like a hair dryer from Ranger, and it was $17.45 at Walmart with free pickup. And I ordered that one because it's much more quiet. The Zap one, I think was 50 cents cheaper, but I decided to pay the extra 50 cents so that I didn't have that loud noise, because you can use that and talk over it, if you're, doing something with your friends or whatever. It's not so loud that it's real annoying. So again, I got the Ranger heat gun for $17.45 at Walmart.com, because my Walmart doesn't have them. Now, you may be able to get them at your local Walmart or at a craft store near you, but I just wanted to let you know what I got. And so we had $20 in the bank, so that leaves us with $2.50. And then this week we are going to need coffee filters, and this is the cone type coffee filter, and this is a size number 2. They have another size 2, and it really doesn't matter what size you get. And it's not the cup kind. It's the actual cone filter. And those were $1.84 at Walmart, so that's going to be $2. And that'll put $3 more in our bank. So we're already started to save for our next item. But anyways, get the cone filters for next week if you'd like to. And I hope that you enjoyed the bow makers. And I hope that if you make them, that they help you out. I know that they really helped me out. I don't use bows that often, but trying to get a bow on something has always driven me crazy because I never can get them right. But thank you very much for watching. I really do appreciate all of your support, and I hope that you all have an outstanding day. Bye-bye.